So obviously, I'm presuming because a lot of you have signed up for this talk already, you've probably done a little bit of research before, and so you're aware of a lot of the masters and postgraduate courses that we've got available at Northumbria. But we've got absolutely loads, basically. We've got over about 200 variations of different postgraduate programs available here, and they're a variety of different types as well. One thing I'd recommend you do, pretty much, to be honest, if you're on the laptop at the moment, I'd get up the Northumbria University postgraduate web pages and have a look through the variety of different courses available. Likelihood is, if we've got an undergraduate course to do with it, we will have a similar, partially related postgraduate course to do with it as well. So, for instance, we've got the real estate masters courses, and we've got disasters and development. Sorry, not disasters and development. That's the wrong title. Disaster management and sustainable development masters as well. If you're interested in geography, if you like doing these sort of engineering courses, we've got project management as well. So there's a variety of different postgraduate courses available for you at Northumbria University. So yeah, you can completely change it, because obviously we understand when you first start at university, you might be, quite young, unsure what you want to do in your future. So the master's opportunities that we've got enable you to sort of change direction and change what you do in the future, because obviously you're going to do your master's, more than likely it's to do and go into a specific career, or advance your skills and your abilities in a specific role, so you can get the best highly skilled job and highly paid job that you can possibly get out of university. So we do have a specific change of direction program, and usually to get onto a course, a master's course or a postgraduate course at Northumbria, we usually ask for between a 2.2 or a 2.1 undergraduate grade. So it shouldn't be too difficult to get onto those courses in the first instance, and we don't ask for any specific sort of requirements in most cases as well. But I would always recommend to double check, like I mentioned earlier, on the website, to make sure that we recognise the specific course you've taken beforehand, and to make sure there isn't any specific requirements that you might need. So for example, we've got the creative writing course. You probably need your typical undergraduate degree to get onto a creative writing course, or like a psychology postgraduate. Same again, you'll probably need to do any undergraduate course and be able to get onto that, following on from that. Yeah, sure. So obviously, again, I'm presuming you've probably done a bit of research if you're on this call now, wanting to find out what postgraduate study is like at university, and at Northumbria specifically. But hopefully we'll all be aware that postgraduate is a little bit of a step up, basically, from your undergraduate. So you get a lot more independent study, a lot more time for you to go and do a bit of research, do a bit of extra reading. Although that is sort of prioritised at university, at postgraduate studies it is a lot more of that sort of focus on independent learning. Whilst you're doing that as well, you are sort of going into more of a specific avenue. You are choosing more relevant topics and more of a relevant subject to what you might want to be doing into the future as well. Because obviously you've probably made up your mind, if you're at university beforehand, that you want to go into a specific career or a specific role, or enhance certain skills or something like that. And so your motivations when you're applying for those courses are to enhance those skills and enhance your employability afterwards. Absolutely, yeah. So I might have touched on it a little bit previously in the past couple of questions, but yeah, the statistics show that overall, like, master's students tend to go into higher skilled and higher paid employment after finishing their degree, and that's even in comparison to undergraduate students as well, which in turn they also tend to get higher paid jobs and higher skilled employment than those people that haven't gone to university at all. So you're sort of giving yourself two steps up, as opposed to that one that undergraduate students get. So just a few statistics that I've found. Postgraduate students earn £7,000 more than graduates, and £16,500 more than non-graduates. So that's probably over, like, in terms of like salary in the next few years after graduating. First and foremost, I'd always recommend going to the .gov website. So you might have been aware of checking out the sort of the undergraduate student loan sort of sites on the government website, because it's an official page and they can provide you with all the information in great detail. So I'd always recommend having a look there first, but I can give you a sort of an overview because there's lots of details to go into sometimes. But for a postgraduate course, it differs slightly from an undergraduate course. So you can get up to £12,167 if your course starts on or after the 1st of October. That is the current payment sort of thing at the moment, but that is subject to change, so that could have changed by next year, but that is what you can currently receive for a postgraduate sort of student loan. Now this is meant to cover your tuition fees and your living costs, so it is a little bit different to the undergraduate again, where you used to get your tuition fee loan and your maintenance loan. This £12,000 roughly will go towards your tuition fees and your living costs as well. And then you're also responsible for paying your fees direct to the university. So again, it is a little bit different to the undergraduate loan, but it goes through the same sort of channels with the student loans website, or student loans company, and all that jazz. In terms of alumni discount, we do offer that at Northumbria. There's 20% off fees if you're our alumni. So if you have graduated from Northumbria University previously, you will get 20% off your fees, which is always a nice bonus. But again, I'd recommend checking out the website to make sure that you can apply for that, and that does align with sort of the criteria that you have. In terms of scholarships, and I noticed there was a few messages in the chat in regards to scholarships. There are some available. I've just had a quick look on the website here, and there's a fair few available for the postgraduate courses. I'm not going to list them all out, but there's some for sort of renewable and sustainable energy technologies, mechanical engineering, business and management. So there's a variety available. Again, I could talk for hours about the sort of different scholarships and all the different eligibility criteria. So I would recommend in your own time clicking on one of those that might be more relevant to what you are studying, and to have a look at that in a bit more detail to see whether it does apply to you. And so what I recommend really is look online to make sure you're aware of your own circumstances, and then you can see if you can get any sort of discounts or any extra support when required. But hopefully that has made it a little bit more clear what sort of postgraduate loan you will receive and what it will go towards.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Mark's probably touched on it earlier, but just make sure you're doing your research into the course you're wanting to study. If you have an idea of what your career you're wanting to progress into, or if you know what you're wanting to gain from that master's, it's really going to help you know if that kind of course is right for you, because there's lots of different courses, not just at Northumbria but other universities. So make sure you do your research, have a look to see what the modules are, what the assessment style is as well. Make sure it kind of suits your style of learning. I would say the best way, my advice is always with universities is to attend the open days as well, to talk to the academics and to talk to current students, and that's a really good opportunity just to work out that if it's the right kind of masters that you're looking for, and you're going to get everything you want out of it. I would say as well, my advice that I'm giving to students that are looking to study masters, or ones that are currently kind of starting their journey, when you're actually there at universities, just make sure you're getting involved, whether that's things like working with our careers team and kind of making sure you're taking the help they're offering you in terms of post-uni, what kind of jobs you could go into or how you can develop your CV. There's loads of teams that can help in terms of finance teams, there's student support and welfare, we've got faith and chaplaincy teams as well. So just make sure you're using the teams there and the support that they offer. And the other thing I would say is on top of having those support teams in place, there's loads of other elements to university. Just as a master's student, you can still get involved in all the societies and the sports. So I would say make sure you kind of maintain that alongside your masters. It's a really good break away from kind of the intensity of the study subject sometimes. So I would just say kind of make sure it's something you're looking to study and you're looking that you're going to enjoy, and then have fun while you're doing it as well.